guys, Binks, and welcome back to Let's Play the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve, where we are continuing in Case 2, The Memoirs of the Clouded Kokoro. Now, like I mentioned before, I have a special guest coming to stay with me very soon, and because of that, my recording schedule is going to be thrown off. To the point that actually I think this might be the last time I will be able to record for a while. I normally record on weekends, but I don't see myself able to record on the next weekend that I have coming up at all, because I'll be too busy preparing, because it will be my final weekend before the guest arrives. So it's like do or die time. So yeah, I seriously don't think I'm gonna have any more time at all to record. So this is it. And I don't want to leave you guys hanging. I really, really, really want to finish this case before I go on hiatus, because while they're here, I'm not gonna have time to record either. So I think I want to see if I can finish the case today. So this episode might be very long. We'll see. I might get interrupted because I'm always interrupted. But we'll see. I'll do my best. Let's do this. I don't know how long this section is. I don't know. I'm gonna do my best, you guys. February 23rd, 11:32 a.m. The Old Bailey, Defendant's Antechamber. Normally, I do 2 episodes of one game and 1 episode of the other game. This is the only week I am neglecting my other LP. And I feel kind of bad because I love the other game that I'm currently playing, which is Dear Monster. But I am neglecting it for you guys, okay? I am neglecting it just so that I can finish this case for you guys. So be grateful. I'm doing it for you because I know there's more of you watching and more invested in this than there are watching Dear Monster. So that's what's happening. So Dear Monster just has to wait a little longer. Joyful, jubilant, jumping jacks. Oh, Mr. Natsume, I'm so pleased for you. Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, and non-locum judicialist. Oh, wow, my bleh. Your tongue twisters. A non-locum. Oh, why? Why do you do this to me, Sasaki? A non-locum judicial assistant, Miss Mikotoba Esquires. Now, finally, at long last, there can be proof. Proof that I'm innocent, and proof that my tea is innocent. Oh, he's arrived. Late, but better late than never, I guess. Ah, good morning, my dear fellows. Ugh. Sherlock Holmes! May you drink my tepid tea and fall forever silent. I'll poison it just for you. I will commit murder because it's you. Saseki, don't say that while we're here, please. I thought the tea was innocent. See? He literally will commit murder as long as it's Sherlock. Oh, Mr. Holmes, you came, finally. How wonderful. Please, save your derision. I know what you're all thinking. Good morning, he says, when it's very nearly time for luncheon. Your scorn is written clearly across your faces. Nobody said or thought anything of the sort. Out loud. I kind of thought it, yeah. The truth is, I was determined that today would be the day. As sleep seduced me last night, I thought, Tomorrow, for once, I shall not oversleep. I'll rise early and be present in court to support my companions. What a funny joke that was! Such spirited determination has a beauty all of its own, does it not? Oh, yes. And then I began to muse on the muse. Really, Binks? And then I began to muse on the subject. Why do people oversleep? I queried. Why, time after time, do they make the same foolish blunder? And the answer came to me at once. It's so delightfully simple. People oversleep because they sleep. Sure. Well, is that not an astute insight into the matter? Oh, yes. Upon which realization, I attempted an experiment. I didn't sleep a wink all night. Wow. And the results? By first light, I was exhausted and began to be assailed by fits of drowsiness. Shocking. And so, the conclusion of last night's experiment is this. A good night's sleep is quite simply essential. I actually passed out right before I was supposed to wake up. Oh, experiment failure. Yes, I think most of us probably knew that already. What others suppose, I prove by experimentation. That, my dear fellow, is the scientific method. Ah, yes, and one more thing. Do you remember this? Ah! Yes, of course. It's the poison that Miss Green was about to drink at the hospital yesterday. Oh, you didn't manage to... Hey, you're helping us out. It was a laborious task, as the bottle was nearly empty, but such inconveniences do not hinder homes. I managed to confirm that it contained strychnine. Yay! So I was right. Perhaps, though of course such circumstantial evidence doesn't prove Miss Green's guilt. I shall leave the bottle in your care now, but licking the inside of the neck is not recommended, sir. Come on now. Slow-acting poison strychnine inside. Could I have a word? Who is this? Oh, Gregson! Gregson, how good of you to come. Forget it. Excuse me. Wait a minute, Inspector. You. I don't wish to make a nuisance of myself. From the look on your face, I'd say it's someone else who you think is making a nuisance of himself. My dear Inspector, please speak freely. Pretend that I'm not here. Believe me, if I could do that, life would be a whole lot simpler for me. Do you have the results, Inspector, of the investigation of Mr. Shamspeare's room? Not yet. Shouldn't be long now, though. No, I'm here about something else. That dead convict, actually. Oh. What was the name? I cannot remember. Hold on, I'm trying to remember without going into the court record. Start with an S? Selden, right? Is he in the people thing? I haven't looked at the people thing in a while. Let's look at the people thing. Sherlock. I believe he's 33. 4. 31? You're that old? Okay. I mean, it's not old. You're younger than me. Gerda, you're only 46? Really? Really? Typical Ace Attorney. I cannot believe that. Why do they do that? That makes me so mad, you guys. How the hell is he only 46? They should flip that. He looks like he's freaking 64. That makes me mad. Gosh, Japan. Ace Attorney, why you do this? "23! Get out of here! Get out of here! No. These people making me mad. You know what? Developers, you guys deserve to be thrown out a window. I'm sick of y'all. The developers are the ones I want to throw out a window now. I'm fed up with them. No! Come on! How does he look older than her? This doesn't make no sense, y'all. The designers don't... Why? Why are they like this? Why? I think this is why I stopped looking, you guys, because it makes me mad. It doesn't make any sense. There's no common sense. No. The ages. No, no, no. There's just... no. No. So it was Selden, right? Yeah, Selden. Okay. Anyway, I'm mad about that. Like, get out of here. Anyway.
Oh, you mean the man from this newspaper article we discovered yesterday in Mr. Shamspeare's room?
A man by the name of... Ah, yes, Selden.
I went through the archives at the yard and dug out the fellow's file. There's something in there that, well, caught my eye.
Something caught your eye? What? Inspector? What?
I've copied out the relevant parts for you, so you can read it for yourselves.
Thank you.
Okay, Capital Offenders File, Scotland Yard's file about the convicted criminal Selden. That includes the newspaper article about him dying of illness in prison. Alright, great. These documents include the details that were in the newspaper cutting we found in Mr. Shamspeare's room. I'll rearrange everything in the court record so we don't have duplicate information. Thank you.
Why are you giving us a copy of this important file, though?
Well, you're the ones who turned up to clear in the first place, aren't you? I'm just making sure things get handled in the proper fashion.
Oh, Scotland Yard's workings are so wonderful.
Indeed, my dear fellows, and the inspector here is a shining diamond in its crown.
Before we continue, I want to look at it. Examine. Okay, investigative findings related to Selden. 18 counts of burglary, 6 counts of suspected murder. Died of natural causes whilst in prison. His final moments witnessed only by his cellmate. The estimated £1,000 worth of loot he stole remains unrecovered. Condemned criminal dies of natural causes in prison. Manchester's Strange Ways Prison announced the death of convicted murderer and burglar Selden by natural causes in the early hours this morning. He'd been suffering with fever since the end of October. Alerted by the shouts of his fellow cellmate, medical staff arrived to find him already dead before his capital punishment could be carried out. That's it? Natural causes, fever. How didn't he just die from fever, though? That's so weird.
A shining diamond in the rough, maybe.
He ain't no Aladdin.
Look, I just don't want to be beholden to a lawyer, that's all. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court proceedings are about to resume. Make your way into the courtroom at once. Well, I shall leave you then. I'll be listening with interest from the public gallery. Not nodding off at all. Certainly not.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
I'm rather tired of seeing Mr. Mustache in floods of tears, personally, so the best of luck to you. Look up student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire.
Yes, Mr. Natsume.
It's time, isn't it?
Yes, this is it. Miss Olive Green and Mr. William Shamspeare. This is going to be the final battle. I won't really have saved Sasaki-san until I've exposed the whole truth of everything that's been going on. But it's all coming to a head now. You can do it, Ryunosuke. You have to.
Alright. And at 12:30 p.m. back in the courtroom. Alright, Olive. I'm sorry to do this to you, but I'm pretty sure you did it, honey. You had every right to, considering what he did to your love of your life, but sorry. Actually, one of my viewers said that they were thinking that maybe nobody did it. Like, I don't know. It was an interesting theory what they wrote. I forgot the exact wording that they used. It would be great if it was an accident or whatever. I forgot how they phrased it. Gosh, my memory's so bad. But I don't know. With the way these games go, it just felt too purposeful. So, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it was an accident or... I don't know.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again now. Before the recess, we heard a most startling accusation from the defense. Namely, that the victim of the case we heard here only a few days ago is the perpetrator of this incident.
A reckless, rash, and prejudiced.
Ah! The word prejudice coming out of your mouth. Wow. Shocking.
Charge of wrongdoing, in my opinion, my lord. However, the prosecution has tried to extend every courtesy to this amateur newcomer from dubious eastern shores.
Thank you, you piece of garbage.
For that backhanded consideration. Yeah. And somebody brought up to me that they were like, oh, why don't you like Van Zeeks? You know that he has to be a jerk right now and that he'll have his redemption later like all prosecutors will in these games. You know what? I know that that's how these things go because that's how Ace Attorney games are. But that doesn't make up for the fact of how much of a jerk he is. You know what I mean? Like, he could have a super tragic backstory. And a lot of them do. But it doesn't excuse his behavior right now. 100%. Like, no matter what his backstory is, I still don't like him right now. Okay? So later on, he might grow on me. And I still find him attractive. Like, don't get me wrong, he's hot. And he has his moments where I find him amusing and entertaining. So maybe later on I'll grow to like him and he'll be redeemed and everything. And I'll be like, oh yeah, he's one of my favorites or whatever. I'm not saying that. Like, I could grow to love the guy. But right now, can't stand him. And I have every right to, you know, he can have character growth. I'm all for that. I'm looking forward to that. But right now, can't stand him. There's actually a few prosecutors in this series I still, to this day, do not like. And number one in my list, I don't know if you guys ever watched my other Let's Plays of this series, and this is your first one. I hate Godot. I will say it 100%. I know it's a controversial statement. Coco agrees with me, and I know only a few other people agree with me. I don't care how popular he is. I don't like him. He might have had his reasons, but I disagree with a lot of the things he did. And I don't like him. I feel sorry for him to a degree, but I don't like him. I actually liked him better as Diego Armando. Spoiler, whatever. But I don't like Godot. I never... Like, he's literally towards the bottom of the list of prosecutors for me. Don't like him at all. Another one, I can't even talk about another one because I haven't played the game on this channel yet. But in the 6th game, I don't like him either. Had an interesting look, had potential, but I think the writing failed. Like, they didn't handle it as well as they should have. The potential was there. Like, I wanted to like the character because of certain things and connections the character had to the main cast and all that, and I was like, rooting for ya. But they just didn't handle it well enough. Like, actually, fanfiction made me like the character more than the actual game, you know? I don't know. It's disappointing when sometimes I find fanfiction handling a character better than the actual games or the story or whatever. And I'm sure that's actually what happens a lot in a lot of games and media. Like, sometimes fans handle a character better than the original writers do. Sometimes the fans have to fix it. Sometimes we gotta take it into our own hands and make things better. It is what it is. I don't want to do too many tangents, though, because we're on a time crunch and I want to finish this.
A rather cold assessment from the Honourable British Prosecutor, I must say. So, Lord Von Zeeks, is the new witness present and ready to take the stand?
Ready and waiting in the witness's antechamber, my lord.
Very well. Bailiff, bring the witnesses in.
Oh, she's painting. Okay.
Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court, please. William Shamspeare, my liege. For mine occupation, I can say only that I be a tragic victim to be pitied.
No, Binks. No tangents. No, don't do it, Binks. Don't rant. Don't rant at him. Don't curse him out.
Oh, all I had to do was look at thine face, and all I want to do is throw thine out a window.
No, I've already threatened and talked about throwing people out windows enough. I think I will put that behind me. No more throwing out windows. No more. That is in my past.
Currently unemployed, in other words.
I'm Olive Green. I'm a fledgling artist. Well, no. Not a fledgling, really. A helpless failure who's too weak-spirited to admit she has no talent, I suppose. Aw, Olive. You get to see you paint.
Also currently unemployed, in other words.
Aren't you a student? Isn't that an occupation? That's what I used to put when I was in college and high school and stuff.
What a coterie.
Coterie? Coterie? I'm too lazy to look it up. Pronunciation. Normally I would use my phone and just do it, but I think my phone is charging right now.
Mr. Shamspeare.
My lord, I am thy humble servant.
I'm afraid that you are no longer merely the victim in this affair. The possibility has been raised that you are in fact the assailant, intent on taking the life of your fellow lodger. The part you have played in this whole business will be thoroughly scrutinized, I assure you.
I would for naught else, my lord.
To hear the harp in that moment is like, wow.
And Miss Green,
Yes,
you are aware of the reason you have been summoned to this courtroom today, I presume.
yes, the officer did explain. He said I poisoned this ridiculous buffoon.
She points the arrow at him.
And do you accept the charge, Miss Green?
I don't know anything about any poisoning. And I don't know anything about this man.
Come, lady, die to live.
Wow, that's a close zoom in of his hand. That's a new one.
Verily, I know not thy prickly, pea-pigmented personage.
Don't lie. You guys, we saw you in the hospital together.
Very well, let us proceed with the matter at hand. That being to ascertain whether or not Miss Green has any involvement in this affair.
It's all very strange. Very strange indeed. Why would you suspect me?
How did you clean... You know what? I'm not gonna say anything. It's video game logic things. Come on now.
I barely ever go to the East End anyway. It so happens that I passed by that neighborhood 6 days ago, that's all. And on the night that this man was poisoned, I was still in hospital fighting for my life.
Yes, having been unfortunately caught up in the incident on the street outside the Geredeb household. An incident that rendered you unconscious for some 3 days.
I was struck. I was struck in the middle of my back by a knife, through no fault of my own, and now I'm under suspicion. What other irrelevant things might I be suspected of? It's all very disturbing.
She's putting up a fight.
Your energies may be better spent worrying about random knife attacks, I feel, Miss Green. At this point in time, all that appears to connect you with Mr. Shamspeare's lodgings is the Briar Road incident of 6 days ago. That's why we would like you to testify formally now about exactly what happened.
Oh no! The incident 6 days ago. You mean you want me to relive that awful accident?
Unfortunately, yes. Please tell the court what happened that day. And of course, we will be interested to hear from you about your movements that day too, Mr. Shamspeare.
But what happened 6 days ago has nothing to do with me being poisoned.
Let us proceed then. The witnesses will present their formal testimony to the court on the subject of the incident that took place on Briar Road the evening of the 17th of February.
I'm glad they're letting us get away with it. Alright, my birthday, y'all. February 17th. Didn't think that my birthday would be so important to this case.
It was 6 days ago at about 5 p.m. I was walking along in the snow when I was suddenly stabbed in the back.
Oh,
You're lucky you don't have red paint on your cheek.
Coincidentally, it happened to be just outside the house where the men in this case have their lodgings.
I was at the tavern on the eve of which thou speak'st, for I had bespoke my supper.
It was the first time I'd been in the area. I had a little matter to attend to, that's all. Anyway, I was admitted straight to hospital, so I knew nothing about all this business.
Is that so?
Yes, a second incident inside a week at what I believe to be aptly described as the haunted lodgings. One can only presume this is a most unfortunate coincidence.
Meanwhile, you say you were not in your room, Mr. Shamspeare. 'Twas the following morn when I did awaken that I learned of the dire events. Mary, what a commotion did the officers of the law make on the floor above mine!
When Saseki-san was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder.
As suspected, there is nothing connecting these two witnesses but happenstance.
It's true, it does seem as though they're unrelated at first glance. But I'm not so sure. There's something lurking in the shadows here. I feel certain of it. And this is my one and only chance to expose it. Counsel, you may now cross-examine these two witnesses if you wish. Yes, my lord.
Okay. Where's my opening? He's walking along the snow, suddenly stabbed in the back.
I'm well acquainted with the case. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
It was awful. I still can't believe I was unconscious for so long. And I woke up to find that the case had been solved and the culprit arrested.
Yes, the incident has been resolved already. Perhaps it would help you to consider it a bad dream that ended with your awakening and should now be forgotten.
He's actually being kind of nice to her.
Yes, I suppose so. Thank you.
But before you put it completely behind you, Miss Green, I need you to remember the details one last time. You must tell the court exactly what happened that day for us to arrive at the truth about this new case.
The trouble is, there's nothing to tell, really. I was just walking along the pavement.
Okay. Happened to be just outside the house. Coincidentally?
What were you doing there that day, though?
What do you mean?
The art school you attend, what's it called?
Ah, yes, it's the Thorndike Academy of Fine Arts.
According to Mr. Holmes, that's just in the vicinity of Brixton Road, which is some 10 stops away from the scene on the underground, yeah.
I believe you mentioned before that you also live on Brixton Road, isn't that right? So why then would you have been walking along Briar Road in the middle of the East End?
Well,
She seems a little nervous.
it's because, oh, yes, of course. I thought it might make a nice picture.
The witness is a student of art. City-dwelling artists can't all paint grand urban vistas.
That's right. I happen to like the crumbling look of that part of town.
Perhaps quaint would have been a less grating term.
The point is, she's definitely hiding something.
Yes, it seems she's not going to be forthcoming with the truth.
If she's trying to hide why she was there that evening, it must mean there's a reason for her not wanting us to know. That's the key to this.
But we don't have an opening yet.
And you, Mr. Shamspeare, on the evening of the incident 6 days ago, Would you tell the court what exactly you were doing?
It would be my pleasure, sire.
Okay. He was at the tavern. I don't think that was important. I think she's our opening. A little matter to attend to.
Hold it!
What little matter, Miss Green? Please elaborate.
It was nothing really. It's not worth mentioning.
Come on, Olive.
If you remember, you mentioned to us yesterday at the hospital.
Ah,
It was related to the card you were holding. Miss Green.
Okay, she had something behind her back.
From memory, I believe the card contained a note that read, I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross.
what does that matter?
Ah, that reaction.
That has nothing to do with Duncan.
Mm-hmm. Oh ho ho. Time to,
Excuse me!
Mr. Shamspeare, do you have something to share with the court?
To be or not to be? That is the question.
I was wondering when you would quote that.
Ah, pray forgive me. The great bard's word springeth from within me.
How dare you make me yawn?
Springeth from within me with no thought.
Don't tell me. It's because you're possessed by Shakespeare's spirit, right? Hearing Miss Green's words a moment ago seemed to make you think of something. Something of relevance, perhaps?
Well,
Uh,
nay, nay, sire, 'twas nothing at all.
Presumably you know the name, though. Mr. Duncan Ross, I mean. After all, you were both lodgers in the same house.
I would it were so, but sadly nay. Lodging be a lonely occupation, sire. My lodging fellows be rarely known to me.
So you haven't heard of him, even though he passed away in the room just one floor above yours?
mm-hmm.
Miss Green.
Me, my lord? Have I done something wrong?
The card that was mentioned before, containing the note. Do you have it upon your person?
I do, yes, but I don't need it anymore. In fact, I should throw it away, really.
Before you dispose of it, the court will take it as evidence, please.
Hmm.
Uh-oh. Oh, Lord, I'm yawning. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish this case tonight, am I?
That's what I was worried about.
This is gonna take longer than an hour, isn't it?
Dang it. How long do you guys think it would be? Probably 2 hour. It would probably be. It probably needs like another. It probably needs another full hour episode or something. So yeah, sorry. I wanted to finish it before my guest arrives, but there's just no way. Dang it. Oh well. It is what it is. At least we're making progress. At least we're almost done.
Of course, that's what links Mr. Shamspeare and Miss Green. It's Duncan Ross. No, continue with your testimony, please, Miss Green.
Like, if you knew all the answers and were not reading all this aloud, I'm sure you could, like, zoom right through this. But if you're playing it blind, reading everything out loud like I am, it takes time, you know, and commentating on it. So, that's why.
Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, you pursued Mr. Shamspeare wonderfully there.
Worked out well, hasn't it? You have a new clue at last. Alright, now I need to pull off a really insightful objection somewhere.
Well, as you've managed to expose this promising new angle, I wonder if you should perhaps try to develop that.
Ah, yes, of course. And yelling out objections isn't necessarily the best way to do that, I suppose.
Okay.
Let's look at the card.
Let's look at it. Hold on. Examine.
The envelope has been ripped open rather carelessly, hasn't it? Miss Green strikes me as the type to open correspondence more neatly than that. Ah,
What is it?
the way the envelope is torn, I'm almost sure I've seen that exact same shape somewhere else.
Oh, you don't mean... You thinking of this piece of evidence, Mr. Naruhodo?
Exactly, that's it. Let's try to match them up.
Yep.
They go together perfectly. This torn off end of the envelope clearly belongs with this card.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Anything else inside it? Or... Nope. It didn't sound like we had to present. It sounds like we had to do more pressing, so... Because he said something about not shouting objections, so let's just press on everything before...
Hold it!
A tavern, you say? Which one?
It was the slug and... Oh yeah, he... Was it him who mentioned the slug and salad? Before? He did mention that, right? Before?
'Twas the slug and salad where I did tarry. 'Tis a jewel in the East End.
Where he did mention eating like a salad and soup before, yeah.
And a little unexpected, I feel.
What do you mean, Lord Von Zeeks?
The slug and salad offers unusually fine dining, for the locality at least.
So, are you saying it's too expensive for him to go there?
Not an establishment you'd expect to be patronized by a man with not even a crumb of bread in his room.
Oh, that's a little shady.
It's true. The menu lists premium crusts of bread and glasses of water, in different levels of cloudiness.
I would have expected grouse grubbery in the local vicinity to be more appropriate for your means. Watery soup and mushy peas, or rather soupy water and pea-like mush.
All equally appetizing.
I just wanted to try some water in a different pub for once. What's wrong with that?
How different can water really be?
Or perhaps there's a more plausible explanation. A specific reason why he had to go to that particular establishment.
Agreed. The fact that on that day of all days he dined at a place he wouldn't normally, it does stand out. So Mr. Shamspeare's own actions on the day of the incident 6 days ago were slightly suspicious. I wonder if we have some evidence that can explain those actions.
Yeah, because if you're going to do something bad, like, let's say, because if he sent Olive that letter to lure her there, because he was luring Olive there, why, right? What was the point? That's what I'm trying to think right now. What did he want from Olive? Did he think she knew something? Because she was romantically linked to Duncan? Did he think that Duncan had found the treasure and given it to Olive? Because, I mean, he kept trying to kill Natsume, though. That's what's weird. Why would he try to kill Natsume and try to do something with Olive? That's what's so weird to me. Like, what was his point? Because his letter to Olive just said something about knowing about what happened to Duncan? That is weird. Because here's what I was thinking. Normally like that kind of letter, I thought it would be like a blackmail letter, right? But if he sent it to Olive, that's not a blackmail letter. And I would have been like, oh, he would go to that restaurant to try to appear, I don't know, well off or something. I don't know. I don't know. The motivation. This is throwing me off. But let's just go.
Mr. Shamspeare,
Yes, sire.
on the day in question, is it not the case that you visited the Slug and Salad, a place you don't normally patronize for a very particular reason?
I don't know what you're talking about. Pray, if thou hast some purpose, speakest.
Very well. I will present the court with evidence. Evidence that explains why you had to be at the Slug and Salad that day. Namely...
I mean, it has to be this. Oops.
Take that!
Oh, I was worried because the music didn't stop right away. I don't know what he wants from her though. I'm really lost, so I need you guys to explain to me. Okay, game, please.
I believe this card reveals the answer.
Good lord. Miss Green's card, you mean?
That's right, my lord. It reads, I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It is a matter of utmost importance. Mr. Shamspeare, your actions on the afternoon of Miss Green's stabbing are exactly as described in this note.
Ugh.
Personally, I find it hard to believe that's a coincidence.
Wait. Wait. Okay. That makes sense. I got it. I got it confused because... Okay. That's weird. So how did Olive get the card back then? Here it is. It is a blackmail letter then. So here's what's throwing me off about the card. The card is a blackmail letter, pretty much. Olive sent it to him. He's the one who opened it, which is why when they said when it was torn in such a way that Olive normally would have done it much more neatly, right? And that's why we found a torn piece in his room, because he tore it that messy way, which really wasn't that messy. It was actually kind of neat, even though it was torn in a weird way. But how did she end up with the card? Like, you know what I mean? Did he, unless he brought it with him and gave her the card to confront her at the hospital? Like, I know this was you? That's the only thing. Because that's why we were thinking that she had the like, that she received the card. That's what was confusing me. Like, I thought for a second, I was like, oh, did he send her the card? But no, she sent him the card to blackmail him. So he went to the Slug and Salad. It's not like... Okay, got it. Oh. And that's why she was there on Briar Road. But that also... Okay, and that also answers something I had said before. I said, how would someone get access, easy access to the pipes? I was like, oh, it has to be someone who has access, like a gas person. That's what I was saying before. And then I was like, oh, but if it's just like, you know, if it's just a lamp or whatever, anybody could access that. But no, it still has to be someone who can have access. But now I'm thinking, well, as long as it's someone who can access it when he's not there. But the problem is getting into it when he's not around, right? So that's why for a bit I was thinking it was Gyarados. But now, knowing that she lured him away, she purposely lured him away so that she could have access to poison the mouthpiece. But how would she have known? Damn, how did she know that he was blowing into that specific lamp? You know what I mean? Like, is she a genius or what? Like, how did she know? Did she talk to... I mean, she knew that her loved one Duncan died of gas. How would she have known that? Did she happen to know that that lamp specifically was connected into the next apartment? I don't know. And just anybody could break in and she could just enter and walk into his apartment? Are there no locks on the door? Because they're so poor or whatever? I don't know. I'm just like really like shocked about a lot of little things there, here and there. Alright, I said I wouldn't do much tangents, but like I said, it's not like I can finish the case today anyway.
Don't you, Mr. Shamspeare?
Well,
Excuse me, can I say something?
Yes, Miss Green.
That card was delivered to me.
No, we just figured it out, and you tricked us with that.
It doesn't have anything to do with this odd man, does it?
Well, you'd think so, yes, but it's hard to believe it's merely...
My lord, may I?
May you what, Miss Green?
I'd like to make something very clear about that card.
Very well then, you may amend your testimony.
She's slick.
To include details about that peculiar note.
This note was delivered to me at my address. It's nothing to do with the odd man next to me here.
Okay. Now you're really pushing. No. Do I have to again mention that this was found in his room? You didn't even let me finish.
Objection.
Now I have to present the other part.
The day before the incident, exactly 1 week ago now, this note was delivered to your address. And upon carrying out the instructions in the note, you found yourself in hospital.
It's always interesting how in British terms or whatever, they just say in hospital rather than the hospital or a hospital. They just say in hospital. I notice that they always do that. Interesting.
Yes, I did. It's terrible, everything that's happened to me.
It really is. And I do feel bad for you, Olive, really.
Yes, it is terrible. If it's all true, that is.
What do you mean?
Miss Green, have a look at this, please. It's the torn off end of an envelope.
Oh, is it?
And it so happens that it fits together perfectly with the envelope of the note you received.
Where did you find that?
In Mr. Shamspeare's room.
in my room?
Mr. Shamspeare, do you perhaps remember this note from somewhere?
Well,
Your actions that afternoon followed the instructions in the note to the letter. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on 17th. And so that's exactly where you went. Let me ask you again, Mr. Shamspeare. You already knew about this note, didn't you? And you, Miss Green,
What did I do?
as this torn-off end of the envelope proves, the note was originally in Mr. Shamspeare's room. So how is it that it came to be in your possession?
Yes. Why were you confusing me?
I don't have the first idea. I'm just a fledgling artist after all.
There is only one explanation. You broke into Mr. Shamspeare's room and stole it.
you did what? Sorry, what? You broke, that were in my room?
Oh, give up the Shakespeare talk. That's a new pose for you too. Damn. They really gave you so many, didn't they?
What on earth do you want with me?
He seems confused with her, doesn't he? And when we mentioned before about her name, he legit did seem kind of like, I don't know who she is.
I think he really doesn't know.
He didn't know who was blackmailing him, did he? Huh. Interesting. I don't think he knows that she was the one who was with Duncan then.
It would seem that both witnesses need to testify again.
Ugh. Miss Green,
Yes.
whilst you have the court's sympathy, I'm sure, for the suffering you have endured in recent events. Anyone found to be giving false testimony in a court of law will be duly punished.
I think Von Zeeks is finally starting to say, you know what? I feel sorry for you, but I can tell you're definitely lying and holding back. Now, this is where, like, the Edgeworth side of him, I see a glimpse of it. Like, thank you, Van Zeeks, finally. I see it. And I've seen glimpses of it before, because I did see a little bit of it, I remember now, in the first game, with that couple. What was it? The Rolly Beat and his wife. Like, he kind of was being a little nice to them and stuff. Like, he does have a little tiny human heart inside of him. So I know he can be redeemed. I still think he's a jerk. But I know redemption is down the line for him someday. Someday. I can't wait for it, Van Zeeks. I can't wait.
Please bear that in mind.
Yes, I know.
Very well then, witnesses, you will give formal testimony again now. On the subject of this curious anomaly regarding the note Miss Green claims to have received.
But we will do that in the next episode. Damn, this really is going to take a while. I was really hoping we could do it, y'all. But it's late and I'm tired. I think this is going to take another hour to an hour and a half. Because even after you finish the trial, you know they always talk and stuff after. So there's no way. There's no way. This is going to take forever, isn't it? There has to be at least another hour. At least one more episode. That sucks. So close, but so far. Anyway, if I can find time this weekend, I promise I will try to record one more and see if I can squeeze in another upload during the week. I'll try. All right. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this, and until next time, have a nice day. Bye-bye.